Guys, Dividend Dandy here, back with the Dandy series, looking at SCHD Schwab U.S. Dividend ETF. Personal favorite and also a favorite on Dividend Twitter, on financial Twitter. A lot of people love this ETF, and I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice and should be considered educational purposes only. Just gonna look through some stuff about this ETF. So I read the prospectus manual. They send that in the mail. It's like a pamphlet. I don't know if any of you guys read it, but I thought it was pretty cool and it felt like official to get one of those in the mail. Um, so SCHD, the expense ratio here is pretty low. 0.06 is nice. This is just from their website. They aim to track the total return of the Dow Jones U.S. Dividend 100 Index. Low cost, diversified index. So this fund started in 2011, and the returns have been great. I think so. It's actively managed, portfolio turnover, NAV. See what the NAV is. Shares outstanding, net assets. 36 billion. Wow. P ratio 15. It's not bad. Price to cash flow. The dividend yield is in the 3% range right now, guys. It's not so bad. 3.1%. Always changing, of course. And they pay their dividend quarterly. But what I want to see is what is their top 10 holdings? Because that's really makes up about 40% of the fund, right? So let's give a brief overview. Some of these stats. Total assets, 37 billion, and we saw that. Dividend yield, okay. A little less than 3% now because the stock's going up. And look at this. Since inception, it has averaged 14.72% return. That's pretty solid. Probably close to a S&P 500 fund, but the dividend is probably a little better for SCHD. 3 years. For past 3 years been good. Interesting. All these Morningstar, all these guys, Market Edge likes it. So before top 10 holdings, let's look cyclical, financial services, defensive, consumer defensive, healthcare, sensitive. Okay, so their top 10 holdings, and this probably makes up about 40% of the whole thing. So it's nice to know exactly what's in the ETF if you want to buy it, right? And it's not, there's like 100 in this index, there's 100 holdings, but really 40% of it is to these top 10 companies. So Merck, Amgen, and Pfizer. The top three right now is pharma, healthcare, Merck, Amgen, and Pfizer. Okay, so pharmaceuticals, healthcare. Coca-Cola and Pepsi round out the top five. You all know what Coca-Cola and Pepsi make, right? IBM. Okay, Texas Instruments, solid company. Broadcom, Verizon, and Home Depot. Seems like a pretty solid top 10 underlying holdings to me. And I like to check just the top 10 underlying holdings to see what I'm really getting exposure in when I invest in ETFs. It's interesting just to see, and it's always changing if it's an actively managed or even some passively managed. The winners win, right? So Merck is actually the top holding. I've been checking this for a while, and I think it definitely changes. But market trends, cyclical events. Right now, market's going down, but I guess healthcare performs. I like healthcare long term. I think more people need more healthcare, aging population. Interesting to see. And the history manager, Farian Juono, and that expense ratio is pretty low, guys. I see expense ratios out there like 0.8%, 0.80, 0.75. 0.06 is pretty low for expense ratio, right? So let's just see. Let's see how Texas Instruments is doing lately, just to see, because I don't really know much about Texas Instruments, their stock. Nice dividend, trading at a low. Anybody interested in buying calculators? I don't. I'm curious what else they make. Honestly, like, excuse me for not knowing Texas Instruments. I know they made some sweet calculators I used in algebra class, right? But just curious to see. Analysts think that's a wide range. Let's look at the valuation. P price sales a little high. Just curious, like, what the top 10 holdings of SCHD is. That's why I made this video, is just to see. Because when I buy an ETF, I look at what's in the ETF, and a lot of people like this ETF, sure, but I just wanted to look deeper to know what I own, because I do own the stock. And, once again, not financial advice, but I was just curious to see, to dive deeper in how has this stock been generating all those dividends. We saw all those high dividend stocks in the underlying holdings, and how has it been returning great returns for the past 11 years. So Schwab has a good history, and TD Ameritrade, didn't they just buy out TD Ameritrade? So these TD Ameritrade accounts are going to get rolled over into Schwab 2023, I believe. So that's interesting. And I just wanted to look into SCHD, absolute fan favorite on Dividend Twitter. And I'm looking forward to the future of this fund. And I can't wait to get my next dividend from them. And have a great night, guys. Great day. And yeah.